Is a presentation of KTYM Public Affairs Department. I'm LaToya Williams, and today I have back with me in the studio Jessica.
Hello.
She is from the financial industry, and last time we were talking about IULs, annuities, 401ks, and really how to protect and invest in your future as well as your family's future. So today I wanted to go a little bit more into detail about everything we were talking about before. So can you explain to everyone exactly what is an IUL and how does it work?
Okay. Well, an IUL is a permanent type of life insurance. It stands for Indexed Universal Life. Okay, because if you want insurance, life insurance, how long do you want it?
For your entire life.
Right. A lot of people relate life insurance to term insurance, which is, needed in some scenarios. But obviously the downside is that it expires. It's affordable, but yeah, it expires. So when it comes to Indexed Universal Life, there's a premium that you pay just like any other insurance, and a portion of that premium pays for the actual cost of the insurance for the death benefit. Okay? And the rest of the money goes into another separate account that accumulates cash value. And so I had mentioned it before that you can access that money tax-free.
I like what I'm hearing here. Tax-free. Now, how exactly can you access that money tax-free?
So I had referenced it before, but there's a tax section in our tax code, and it's tax section 7702. Basically states that you have the ability to accumulate the cash value and access that money tax-free. Of course, there's stipulations that are associated with that, where you can't just throw all of your money in there. It has to be structured properly, and there's a maximum that you can put in there. But with that, it's picking the right person to work with to structure it correctly.
Okay. And what's the advantages of having an IUL versus getting term insurance? I know you mentioned term is temporary, so it expires, obviously.
Right. So when it comes to the differences, are you familiar with cars at all?
A little bit.
Okay. I guess the easiest way to kind of give you an analogy would be your term is like your Honda Accord, or let's say your Toyota Corolla, whatever the case may be. Nothing wrong with those vehicles. They're very dependable. They're going to get you to and from. They're going to serve its purpose, and most people can afford those types of vehicles. But I'm a dreamer. And so I have goals of, visions of these very beautiful exotic cars. And so I'll say my dream car is the Porsche Panamera, right? Okay. So the IUL is equivalent to the Porsche Panamera. Okay. Term is like your Honda Civic Accord, whatever the case may be, but no bells and whistles. The Panamera, on the other hand, it's going to go fast very quickly, right? It's going to get you, and it's probably got the seats are AC and have AC in them, and they're heated seats and navigation. You don't even have to park the thing. There's obviously perks to having that, but it also does cost a little bit more. Okay, so that's the easiest way that I can kind of give people an analogy and a visual as far as what an IUL is. So you're going to get not just the navigation and all the bells and whistles I told you with the car, right? But with the IUL, you're going to get living benefits. Okay, so if you're ever diagnosed with heart attack, stroke, cancer, can't perform 2 out of the 6 daily living activities, you have access to a death benefit. Okay. While you're alive. So life insurance, not death insurance. But you also, like I said, you have the ability to accumulate cash value. And a lot of people use the cash value in different ways because it's very flexible. That's what's so appealing to it. Because when it comes to your money, people want to have options. People want to have control over their money, which is why you hear of people putting it in a safe or mattress money, right? You know that.
Which is not safe.
Right. And you're losing money there. People don't even realize it. With inflation rate being negative 3% on average every year, you have your money in a safe or under your mattress, you're losing money. You just don't realize it. So with utilizing the IUL, you're able to outpace inflation. Because, like I told you, if you have it under your mattress, it's negative 3%. It's like putting $100 there, leaving it for a year. You come back a year later and it's $97. That's not smart. So
I don't want to lose money. Nope.
Nobody likes to lose money. Trust me. Even if you don't notice it or you don't realize it right away. But that's one of the other advantages of having an index universal life, is having the flexibility to be able to accumulate the cash value and use it at your convenience. Something that still has some liquidity to it as well.
That's amazing. Now, what if, I know term insurance obviously is a lot cheaper, and then like you said, it's your Honda Civic, and then the IUL it can be like your Range Rover or whatever your exotic car is that you like. So is there something maybe for people that are in between stages, like they want something a little above term but they're not quite at their luxury vehicle yet?
Yes, of course. So one thing that's great about working with PHP Agency, and we work with the 30 different carriers, is we have options. We are all about options, and there's something that's suitable for each person. So for somebody that's kind of right in between and they want some of the advantages of the IUL, but then they can't really afford that necessarily, they're not there yet. I mean, because we all start with the starter vehicle, right?
Exactly.
I mean, trust me, my first car was a 1990 Ford Taurus. We all start somewhere, right? So there's nothing wrong with a term at all whatsoever, especially with the option to convert it into a permanent policy, because nobody likes to put money somewhere and then throw it away, because a lot of people, I would say, I'm not exactly sure on the exact percentage. I know it is about 90% of people outlive a term policy. And so a lot of people feel like they're throwing money, like they threw money away. And then it turns them off to insurance completely.
Yeah.
So kind of one of the middle ground would be like an ROP.
What does that stand for?
I know, right? It's like mysterious.
I know, right?
No, it's called return of premium. So essentially the money that you're putting away for insurance is, if you outlive that policy, you get all that premiums back. So you have car insurance, right?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you have?
Phone insurance.
And phone insurance on everything, right? But specifically car insurance. Who do you have?
Mercury.
All right. So let's say Mercury calls you up and they say, "Hey, LaToya, we have this great new plan. It's going to cost you a little bit more. Nothing dramatic, but it's going to cost you a little bit more, but there's an advantage. If you get in an accident in the next 5 years, you're still covered 100%, still same benefits. But LaToya, if you can manage to not get in a car accident in the next 5 years, we're going to give you all of your premiums back." Would you sign up for that?
I would sign up in half of a second.
It does not exist in car insurance, but it does exist in life insurance. And so that's kind of the middle ground, the middle of the road is an ROP. And a lot of people utilize that vehicle for mortgage protection.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. 100%, because one thing that a lot of people don't think about, again, upon passing, is that they have to take care of this mortgage, and they want their family to stay in their home, but they also don't want to lose out on throwing money away on something that they plan on outliving. They want it just in case. So mortgage protection utilizing an ROP is actually a really good idea as well.
That's awesome. That's just something, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because everything that you're saying, I'm just like, where's this information coming from? Like, somebody should have been talking to us like when we were 5.
Right.
And we can start asking for all these things that we want.
Right. But it starts in the home.
Yes, exactly. Is that something you implement in your home as well? Are you teaching your kids
100%.
About finances?
100%. All of my children have an IUL, an Index Universal Life, for the cash accumulation and the flexibility of what to do with that cash. My 9-year-old has a policy. My 17-year-old pays her own policy.
Oh, wow.
She's actually an agent with us, and so she sees value, and she sees the lack of education in our community. And so for an 18-year-old to come into this industry, it's not, let's be honest, nobody comes out of high school and says, I want to be a life insurance agent when I grow up.
Yeah, no. I don't think I'll ever hear that, ever.
Nobody says that. If you would have asked, LaToya, I don't come from this industry, to be honest. I've built I had a career before I got into this industry where I was in hospitality. And so if you would have told me that this was where I was going to end up, I would have told you were crazy, because it was a very glamorous industry, very glamorous. Celebrity chefs, celebrities, all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't worth the time that I was missing with my family. Not only that, I wasn't impacting anybody. And I knew that there was God-given talents and abilities that I had that could be used to impact families. And so when I came across the opportunity to partner with PHP Agency, I was like, saw the impact.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I was completely sold out. I said, I have to, this is information our community needs 100%.
I couldn't agree with you more, because it's something we don't talk about. Mm-hmm. Like when we have family picnics or reunions or Christmas and, Easter and all that good stuff. Like, people are genuinely just catching up and talking about what they saw, the latest movie or the latest song or whatever,
Yep.
Not saying that any of that's not important to them at the time, but there's so much more we could be discussing to help educate our young children or teenagers and young adults, mm-hmm. and even older adults.
Right.
So that people can better prepare themselves for the future.
Right.
And I know last time we also talked about 401ks.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you were kind of doing a little bit of a breakdown about 401ks and how they work. Mm-hmm. So I know it's tied in with the stock market.
Yes.
So can you explain some better alternatives of how you can prepare and save for your retirement while either still utilizing your 401k and maybe accessing something else, or maybe considering not using a 401k and maybe rolling it over into something else?
Yes. So when it comes to a 401k, like I mentioned before, if the employer is contributing, take the free money. But if they're not, then look at other vehicles that you can take the portion of the growth from the S&P 500, which is the top 500 stocks in the stock market, where you take a portion of the gains, but guarantee to never lose money. And so the way we do that is through an annuity. Okay. And a lot of people, annuity is literally the oldest vehicle that is out there. It has been around since the Roman period. And so, as a matter of fact, fun facts, yes, I'm full of fun facts. Benjamin Franklin actually had an annuity for Boston. So when he passed away, he left it for the city of Boston. And they actually left that annuity there, and they annuitized it, which means they took the money, mm-hmm. okay, in 1992 or 93, and they revamped the city. Like, it grew that much.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so one way to fund your own pension, because we're seeing that in corporate America, pensions are becoming less and less. As a matter of fact, I just heard of a woman who had her pension frozen since 2009, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? What do you mean frozen? Where it's just losing value. If you have an inflation rate of negative 3% and you have money sitting there not growing,
they're just losing money by the second.
Every year. And so with pensions kind of going away, people realizing that Social Security is not going to sustain, right? It's just, it's not going to go away. Let's be realistic. The government's never going to get rid of it. They're just going to keep pushing the age later and later. Exactly. And then they're going to start giving you less and less.
It's just not enough that you can financially live off of from month to month.
Right. So when you look at an annuity, we do, there's a couple of different accounts, different types of annuities. There's fixed, variable, and indexed. Okay. And when you're looking at fixed, there's some good and bad to everything, right? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to a fixed annuity, the good thing is that there's no loss. Okay. So you have absolutely no loss. The con is you're still only getting about 2% maybe mm-hmm. return. So it's like, it's good because it's safe, but it's very conservative.
Yeah.
Then you have the variable. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the good thing is that there's a potential for growth. There's you get a little bit higher returns.
Yeah.
But the downside is that your money is exposed to loss. So there's the potential for loss in a variable.
Yes, okay? And I don't want to lose money.
Exactly.
Nobody
wants to lose money. I get that. But there's this other indexed here. Okay, so it's another type of annuity. And what the index does is that the downside is that you're not getting 100% of the gains. So you're not getting as much growth as you would in a variable. But the positive side is that there's no losses.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the best of both worlds between a fixed and a variable.
Yes.
So when we look at what we normally focus on is an indexed annuity, where we're able to teach people how to create their own pension, because along with that annuity, there is an option to add on a rider where you're actually able to have a stream of income that you can never outlive.
What?
Yes.
Explain that. I know people are going to want to know about this.
Yes. So it's a guaranteed income benefit rider. And so it basically takes how old you are, how much money you have, and at a certain age when you decide to activate that rider, it will pay you a stream of income every single month, money that you will never outlive. Because how long are you going to live, LaToya?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Hopefully for a long time.
Right, but nobody...
Lord willing.
Nobody knows. So it's funny because when I say, we want to make sure that you don't outlive your money, people say, what? Well, you don't know how long you're going to live, so how do you exactly calculate that?
Exactly.
Right? So if you have a stream of income that you never will outlive, and that if whenever there is money left over, it goes to your beneficiary tax-free, why wouldn't you do that for your family and secure your future? Because the 24-year-old you, the 23-year-old you, 17-year-old you, has to think about the 60, 70-year-old you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best way that you can set yourself up.
Man, this annuity sounds amazing.
I know.
Now, let's say, for example, what if someone has like a pension or a 401k already?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they're about to retire, or maybe they're considering doing some type of like career change. What should they do with that money? Is that something they could roll over into an annuity, or
absolutely?
How does that work?
That's actually the smartest thing to do in most cases. And I always say most cases because each scenario is different. But what a lot of people do when they get a new job, I'll just roll it into my new 401k. They offer the same benefit, but you're continuing to expose your money to the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
So why not take the money that you've already worked so hard to earn and roll that over when you leave that job? Put it into an account that is safe and is going to give you the opportunity to grow.
Okay.
And that's something that there's no penalties associated with that. There's no fees, anything associated. It's just a simple conversation, some paperwork, and that's it. It's a very simple process. But most people just feel comfortable letting their job dealing with it. Well, I don't feel safe leaving my money in somebody else's hands.
Nope. That sounds like an epic fail.
Right.
As I would say.
Absolutely. But it's almost like, we rely so much on our employers, which, some employers, don't get me wrong, not all employers are bad. I mean, there's some great companies out there. There really are. But do your research. Look into it a little bit and see, ask the questions as to why would I do that? Why would you expose your money to stock, to continue to loss, to expose your money to loss?
I'm so glad that you said to do your research, because so many people, like you mentioned before, that it's like, okay, you're taught, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. And then it's like, when you get a good job, it's like, enroll in 401k. Most people are like, what? If you ask people, what's a 401k? Oh, it's for my retirement. Okay. What does it do? They have no idea. Mm-hmm. And you just sign up because your job's like, okay, let's go here. You sign here, and maybe they'll even let you choose a few stocks or whatever. And there you go. You're good to go. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't sound like a good plan, because you're, like you said, you're just entrusting your job with your money.
Well, not only that, on the back end, do your research. There's so many fees that are associated with that, because it's not like they do this for free. It's not like they select your stocks for free, or they have somebody that's moving your money. There's somebody that is getting paid to manage your money. So there's so many different hidden fees that are within a 401k that a lot of people won't even take the time to look into.
That's crazy.
That you're paying for. And so when you're doing something like what I'm talking about, when you look at an index annuity, it's going based off of the stock. Your money is not being traded. There's nobody behind the scenes. I don't get paid a fee to make some magical guess as to what's going to be best for you. So, but that's essentially what you're doing. So we're talking about limiting the fees. Don't give your money away to somebody to guess and take a gamble on. If that was the case, go to the casino. You know, it's essentially,
you probably have better luck.
Right. But somebody will sit there and say this is the best thing for you. Well, the company, if you don't know, the company gets a tax advantage to offering you a 401k. The company gets a tax break.
What?
Yes.
They're benefiting from what you think is benefiting you. They're actually really benefiting from it.
Yes. You get a tax break. The company, the corporation gets a tax break to offer a 401k plan to their employees.
That's crazy. So it's like you kind of think when you're getting a job and they're offering you a 401k, like, oh, it's so nice. They're doing something great for me, like to help set me up for retirement. Mm-hmm. But it's really a little hidden agenda because it benefits them.
Right. But here's the thing, too, is that you're sold on the fact that it's tax deferred, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, we're not going to tax you on this money. You're not going to pay taxes until later. Don't worry about it. It's going to lower your taxes right now. You don't have to worry about paying. Okay. Well, you're like, all right, that's nice.
Yeah.
But let me give you a scenario. Let's say I hand you a handful of apple seeds, LaToya, okay? And you're going to plant these seeds. 30 years down the line, you're going to have this beautiful apple orchard that you're going to live off of. A whole 2 acres. Okay, you're going to be able to sell those apples, make apple pies, sell the apple pie, right? You're going to live off of this beautiful
this sounds
orchard.
Great. I'm envisioning it right now.
So then let me ask you, do you think taxes are going up, down, or staying the same?
They're definitely going up.
100%. They have to go up, right? Right now they're pretty steady because there is a bill that was put into place. So they'll be steady for the next couple of years, but they're definitely going to increase. So yes, 30 years down the line, they will be higher. But if I asked you, knowing that taxes are going to be higher, 30 years from now, would you rather pay tax on the seed of your apple, or would you rather pay a higher tax on your entire orchard?
I'm going to have to definitely say the seed.
So when you have a 401k, you're paying taxes on the orchard.
That's ridiculous.
Right. So again, it's not bad if the employer is giving you free money because you got free money when they're matching it. Take that money. But otherwise, why are you paying taxes on the seed? Why are you exposing your money to the stock market and loss?
Yeah.
It's just because that's what they're exposed to. But once you start, when things are put into perspective that way, then you see, okay, something's not right here. Something's not adding up.
Yeah.
So that's why we introduce people to the other vehicles, such as an indexed annuity, and even utilizing index universal life. So yes, using life insurance for retirement.
That's genius. Well, once you did a full breakdown about how it works, I was like,
Yeah, no, it's again, tools the wealthy have been using for a very long time that people are either intimidated to learn about because they'll start throwing around these fancy words. No, we break it down so that it's simple, because it is very simple.
It is.
It's not rocket science at all. Because trust me, if it was rocket science, I wouldn't be in the industry. I was not.
Like, forget this.
I did not graduate top of my class. I'm a smart girl, but I didn't graduate the top of my class. But when it comes to utilizing life insurance and setting yourself up for retirement, most people don't associate the two, but they again are very closely related.
Nice. And we are running out of time, but I did want to ask you, what are some things that people can do if they're older and maybe they don't have any retirement or life insurance? What's something they can do to at least take care of like funeral costs?
Oh, absolutely. So there's a lot of people think that they're uninsurable because of health issues. Maybe they had a heart attack in the past. I just met with a couple and the husband had a massive heart attack. I contacted one of the carriers that we work with. They're able to get coverage in a permanent policy. But we also have final expense policies as well.
What's the final expense policy?
Final expense is essentially to cover funeral costs and any small expenses. So you're looking at, depending on your age, $40,000 or $20,000. So something really small, not necessarily talking about replacing income or anything like that. It's really just to cover the burial expenses and funeral costs.
That's amazing. So there really is something out there for everybody, no matter what stage they are in their life.
Absolutely. I represent about 30 different carriers. And with that, there's typically something that is suitable for each person's scenario. I even had a young woman who had attempted suicide before, and she said, I can't get coverage.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, let's talk about it. Let's see. Give me some of your background. And without disclosing any information, I was able to find something that was suitable for her and get her coverage.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's a win-win.
100%. So you are probably insurable. There are some cases. But a lot of people that think that they can't get coverage can 100% get coverage, and just a matter of making a phone call.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, please, 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 I know this is an uncomfortable conversation or things you don't want to think about, but please feel free to reach out to Miss Jessica. Can you please give us your number?
Absolutely. It's 765-999-1752. Again, that's 765-999-1752.
And also, if you guys didn't see our first episode, Jessica also mentioned that we can come to your house, we can meet you at a Starbucks, wherever you like and you feel most comfortable. It's free service. If you know someone who needs life insurance, you need life insurance, you want to plan and save for retirement, you have credit card debt, student loan debt, please feel free to reach out. There's no reason why you should be struggling.
One more thing I'll mention is that we are licensed in about 49 different states. So your location does not matter. We also do Zoom video conference calls as well.
Zoom video calls? You can literally be in your pajamas eating cereal and getting educated.
Yes.
Doesn't get any better than that. Thank you so much, Jessica. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. The preceding program was a presentation of KTYM's Public Affairs Department. I'm LaToya Williams.